When we talk about sustainability, there's always this story we hear. It feels like there's always one clear villain, right? And that villain is plastic.
Totally. And it's such a simple formula. Plastic equals bad. It feels right, you know? Like if we could just get rid of all the plastic, proof, problem solved. It's a really satisfying story to believe.
It is satisfying. But what if we've got the wrong guy? What if we've been pointing our fingers at the wrong culprit this whole time? And the real problem, well, it isn't the material itself. It's something way more subtle, hiding in plain sight on pretty much every store shelf.
The real villain here is just bad design. See, we have this idea that recycling is kind of like magic. You toss something in the blue bin, and it just vanishes and becomes something new. But the reality? It's a gritty industrial process. It has real physical limits.
Okay, wait, hold on a second. How does that work? I mean, if you have something like a PET bottle, the kind that's clearly recyclable, and you put it in the right bin, how can it fail to be recycled? Isn't that the whole point of the system?
That is the absolute key question. Here's the thing. Every single package, I don't care what it's made of, has to pass through 3, let's call them gates, to actually become something new. And if it fails at any one of those gates, that's it. Game over. It's headed for the landfill. Okay, so here are the 3 gates. Gate number 1. Can the machines at the recycling facility even see and sort the package correctly? Gate 2. If it gets sorted, can the material be shredded, washed, and turned into clean, usable plastic pellets? And Gate 3, and this one is so important. Does anyone actually want to buy that recycled plastic? I mean, think about it. If there's no real market for it, if no company is lining up to buy those pallets to make new stuff, then all you have is a very clean, very well-sorted pile of garbage. A no at any of these steps means it's waste.
Okay, so let's dig into that first gate, detection. How in the world do machines see plastic? Yeah, great question. Most modern recycling plants use this really cool technology called near-infrared sorting, or NIR for short. The best way to picture it is like a high-tech scanner that zaps the plastic with light. It reads the unique fingerprint of each polymer, and then, poof, a little jet of air blows it into the correct bin. The problem is, certain design choices can basically give that package an invisibility cloak.
And you see this happen all the time, especially in beauty and cosmetics. You know those fancy full-body shrink sleeves that make a bottle look amazing? They can completely blind the NIR scanner. Or black plastic. The carbon black pigment that's used to make it black literally just soaks up the infrared lights so the scanner can't see it. Metallic finishes, those tiny little travel-size products, lipstick tubes. All these things we see every day are design choices that turn perfectly good, recyclable material into trash before it even gets a fighting chance.
Wow. Okay, so if the problem really is bad design, what's the fix? What are brands supposed to do about this?
Well, they have to completely shift their thinking. It's not about sustainability vibes anymore, It's about hard engineering specs. And that's where this whole playbook called Design for Recycling, or DFR, comes into play.
And what's so important to get is that DFR isn't just some fuzzy feel-good concept. We're talking about concrete, specific rules from major global organizations. So in North America, you've got the APR, the Association of Plastic Recyclers. They get super granular, looking at every single detail, the type of plastic, the color, the cap, even the glue on the label. Over in Europe, there's a group called RecyClass, and they make it really simple with a traffic light system. Green means you're good to go, yellow means there are some issues, and red, that's a hard stop. It means that design choice is actively harming the recycling stream.
Okay, that makes sense. But can you give me a real-world example? Like, what's the gold standard here?
For sure. The ultimate goal, and where the whole industry is trying to go, is something called mono-material packaging. It's exactly what it sounds like. The entire package is made from just one type of plastic. Imagine a lotion bottle with one of those complicated pump tops, but the bottle and the pump are both made from polypropylene, or PP. For a recycler, that's a dream come true. It makes everything so much simpler.
But here's the catch. Even when you do everything right, you sort it, you clean it, you create this beautiful recycled plastic, what we call PCR, or post-consumer recycled material, you run into another huge design hurdle: us, the consumer, especially in the world of beauty. See, PCR plastic isn't always perfectly clear or pristine. It might have a slight grayness to it, maybe a faint odor, and a lot of consumers might look at that and think, ooh, that looks dirty, or that looks cheap. So the really smart brands are now designing for that. They're using interesting textures or cool shapes to really own that unique look, instead of trying to pretend it's brand new plastic.
Man, this is way more complicated than I thought. So why the big push for this right now? Why is it suddenly so urgent for brands?
Because the game has totally changed. The stakes are way, way higher now. What used to be a nice-to-have for a brand's green marketing is rapidly becoming a must-have just to stay in business. And that's all because of new laws and way stricter rules about labeling.
Yeah, check this out. In the European Union, they're basically saying that if your package isn't recyclable by design, you can't even sell it there, period. Here in North America, those how to recycle labels, they're not just suggestions anymore. They're being policed and tied to actual laws. And over in the UK, it's a simple recycle or do not recycle. On top of all that, new laws are popping up that make the companies themselves pay for the waste their packaging creates. So the bottom line is this: bad design isn't just bad for the planet anymore. It now has a real direct financial cost.
Okay, so with all that pressure, it feels like a ton of brands are just trying to find an escape hatch. They're sidestepping the whole plastic thing and switching to glass. I mean, problem solved, right?
That's exactly what everyone thinks, and I get it. Glass feels premium, it feels natural, it feels like the easy, obvious, sustainable choice. But it's really not that simple.
Because when you zoom out and look at the entire life cycle of a product, a totally different picture starts to form. Glass is super heavy, right? That means way more carbon emissions just to ship it around. It's also fragile, which means you need more bubble wrap and bigger boxes to protect it. The surprising truth is that a lightweight, well-designed plastic package, one that's truly optimized for recycling, can often have a smaller overall environmental footprint than that glass bottle. It just goes to show you, the material itself isn't inherently good or bad. It's all about the system it was designed to work in.
So this really brings us all the way back to where we started. It's about a whole new mindset. We need to stop focusing so much on just the material itself and start thinking about the design and where that package is destined to go after we're finished with it.
Wow. That completely reframes the whole conversation for me. It's not this simple black and white choice between good materials and bad materials. It's really about us demanding that brands actually engineer their packaging so it can survive and succeed in the real-world recycling system. It's definitely more complex, but it also feels, I don't know, more solvable?
Exactly. So here's the takeaway. The next time you're in a store, instead of just automatically reaching for whatever is labeled plastic-free, maybe pause for a second. Take a closer look at the package itself. Is it made of just one material? Is the label pretty simple? Is the plastic clear instead of dark black? It really leaves you with a new question to ask yourself. Are you looking for a different material, or are you looking for a smarter design?